You're with NewsMakers. We are up close and personal with the Family Help Trust. My guests are Libby Robins and Dr. Annabel Taylor. Now, let's suppose a mother has just been referred to you. They are pregnant or have just given birth. Why is that time the biggest window of opportunity for the Family Help Trust?
It's to do with the, like, having a baby is kind of sort of, you know, normal, and it's also a very normal time for any mother, regardless of her circumstances, to want lots of information. And so it's kind of part of normalising the whole thing. But it's also what we would see as a great window of opportunity. The third part of that is that by targeting her antenatally, we can make sure that she's getting proper food, proper rest, proper health checks, all those sorts of things. So, yeah.
How willing are these mothers, generally speaking, in terms of facing up to their demons? Are they genuinely wanting major intervention in their lives?
Some are and some aren't. Some are still blaming the whole system for their difficulties, but some are really genuine. Some have been so traumatised by the children they've already lost.
You offer 5 years of intervention, don't you? So basically from the time the child is 0 to 5.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, that bears in mind the fact that our families are often families that have been through a raft of services. And because they're really often hostile and difficult to work with, services tend to drop off. And so working with them or committing ourselves to 5 years is saying to them, look, we're in this for the long haul. You know, we recognise things can go up and down. We're not looking for a one-stop shop, 6-month, cure. We recognise that this is a long process, potentially. As it turns out, we don't have to work for 5 years with our families.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, the majority require really intensive support for perhaps the first 6 to 12 months, but consequent on that it will drop away. But the big thing is that we're still there if things change, and they need support again.
Is drug treatment a common denominator?
Yes. Yeah. And family violence.
Yeah. How successful is the Family Help Trust in getting junkies fixed, to put it in simplistic terms?
Okay, well, first of all, we don't provide drug treatment.
Sure.
But we ensure that they do receive it for the services that are available, and we would be sitting with them as they go through that, making sure that they attend appointments. Yes, all of those support things. So we have a lot of methadone mothers. And one of our big successes is that we've got a significant number of methadone mothers who've actually stopped the methadone program and are now off drugs totally. So that's a big wow as far as we're concerned.
I know we're speaking in very sort of broad terms here, but let's suppose we're talking about cases where there is a very toxic male partner in the mix, and I would assume that is a very common denominator.
Yes.
How crucial is it for those mothers to pull the plug on such a relationship?
Well, in terms of research, what we know now is that, more and more, is that where family violence is present, there is a risk to the children. And we understand a lot more about the impact of children witnessing family violence. So it is really critical for our workers to be having a close look at what's happening and what's going on. But our research in that, we've done some additional research around this issue of how do we assess what's happening when we first meet families. And of course, what we're finding is that they're pretty reluctant to tell us, understandably, all of what's going on. And so that assessment of family violence is something that we do in an ongoing fashion. But our evaluation research is indicating that we're certainly impacting in a drop-off, and that appears to relate to changes in partners.
Right.
Either losing a partner who's problematic, or forming new relationships that are more positive.
At the same time, there are some of these men who actually are willing to actually seek treatment.
I wondered about that.
Successfully.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you get that sign from them, you can in
well,
some
that's
ways offer
great.
some assistance to them as well.
Yes. Yep. I mean, our work is their aim, is as far as possible the strengthening and enhancing of the family, and where a father is, really wanting to take a positive role in that, our workers will be in there, very strongly in there, supporting that.
Sure. I was going to ask you about the fatherlessness crisis, in terms of how it manifests itself in so many social statistics downstream. If you've got a toxic male father in the mix, how do you ensure the child doesn't lose complete contact with their father?
Well, we've got all sorts of legal protections in place around this issue, and the question would be, first and foremost, the safety, of the child and children concerned. And really, it's beholden on fathers to take responsibility for this. Our support is there for dads who want to become a positive part of their children's lives. But if they're choosing to continue down a destructive path, there's really not much certainly our service or any other, I would imagine, can do, really.
They're better to be out of the picture.
They're better to be out of the picture. And so that issue of fatherlessness is a complex one, really. It's not a simple question of saying, yes, we should have fathers. Yes, we should have fathers, except where they are causing, really destructive behaviours and so forth, within the family.
Yeah. The 5 years commitment to these children in potential crisis, how much does that cost to operate such assistance?
Okay. Well, the intensive part of the service and can cost as much as $10,000 for say the first year if they're getting full-on intensive weekly visiting. By the end of that 5-year period, it would be sort of down to, say, 2 years, $2,000.
Over the 5 years?
Yes, over the 5 years. So it starts off, I guess, expensive and then tails off. So broadly, on average, it's about $6,000 a year.
Sure. Of course, recently, the social services researcher Dr. Mark Turner released his evaluation report into the work of the Family Help Trust. The overall findings, satisfactory?
We were pretty pleased.
Indeed, yes. But what they do indicate, though, is that we are having an impact on, arguably, on areas that you could say lend themselves to some influence. So that's the drug use reducers and the family violence reducers. What we're not having so much of an impact on is our family socioeconomic status, which, again, you could say is reasonably logical from the point of view that those things are a bit outside our control. But what they do indicate to us is that some of our families are certainly not getting sufficient in socioeconomic support, and economic support particularly.
Sure. Are Christchurch children safer because of the Family Help Trust?
Oh, I hope so, but the difficulty would be actually proving that.
Well, yes, we can prove it in terms of our evaluation results. That is, the Christchurch community can rest assured that our clients will have child safety gates in their houses at the top of stairwells to stop babies falling down the stairs. They'll have seat belts, proper seating in car seats in their cars. The drivers will be encouraged to licence and to be driving legally. So there's a whole raft of simple, practical things which enhance children's safety and driving safety and so on.
Sure. Right.
We've never had a child death.
You haven't?
No, never.
Well, that's an encouraging sign, isn't it? Yeah. All right, we'll pick up on a few other issues with the Family Help Trust shortly. Do stay with us.